Welcome to Tell Me Your Story with Dennis Henson. This is a brand new series we hope that you will enjoy, and it's called Body of Health. Dennis, welcome, and let us start out by telling people about, I guess best way to put it is, our disclaimer.
Okay. Well, Richard, thank you so much for having me on this series. I'm really excited about doing this, but I think it's very important that everyone understand that neither of us are medical doctors or have any kind of medical training. We are just people who are very interested in health and being able to get better faster so that if you have some problem, that gives you a place to go to find things that have worked for other people that may help you or they may not, but there'll be something worthwhile checking out.
Body of Health is going to be here every week. The website that we're going to suggest you go to for information, number one website is dennisjhenson.com, which we will have in the audio and video podcast videocast. But there's also a Facebook location, and basically it's facebook.com/groups/body of health. Once again, facebook.com/groups, that's plural, groups/body of health. We hope that you will go there to check out the information that Dennis has provided with us. And with that, we move into our conversation about Body of Health. Welcome to Body of Health, the series that is here on Tell Me Your Story with Dennis Henson, who is sharing with us his insights. I'm Reverend Dr. D. And Dennis, good to have you back again, especially considering that we left off in our last program talking about the 10 shocking habits to reset your health. I'm going to maybe I'm wrong in my summary of this, but it seems to me like we're unplugging the computer and sort of plugging it back in. But actually, in this case, we're running some diagnostics, so to speak, and maybe installing a few little they call them apps or applications or programs to help to improve and optimize our health and well-being. And we talked about a lot of different things in our last program. As a matter of fact, just to kind of running down what we were talking about, obviously exercise was a big one that we discussed. You talked, of course, about cold showers or baths, as well as what do we call it here? Saunas, which is sort of the opposite of a cold shower or bath. As well as talking about some of these other things like what do we have here? The niacin flush, which is one that could be very interesting. Intermittent fasting, and then a breathing technique that we all can do at pretty much any time that we are able to do so. And then some intense exercise, high intensity exercise. And we're going to pick up with one that we did an entire program about, which, as I mentioned before, we've got a mini tramp that we're about ready to purchase to have set up in a specific spot that'll be there for both my wife and I to get the lymph system moving, really get that the fluids flowing, and that's rebounding. So let's if you pardon the pun here, let's jump into that one.
Okay. Well, we've been talking about shocking our system, and rebounding doesn't sound like much of a shock, but actually it is. It's a gravitational shock, so that every time you go down and stop and go back up, it moves all of the fluids in your body, your lymph fluid and your blood. Now, if you talk with most people and you say, what's the most prevalent fluid in your body? Everybody would say, well, it's your blood. Well, they'd be wrong.
Wow.
There's more lymph fluid than blood in your body. And that's kind of interesting because the blood has a pump. The heart's continually pumping the blood through your body. And if it stops, you stop too. But the lymph fluid needs to move also. And the only way it moves is if you move. So if you become sedentary, the lymph fluid the lymph fluid is cleaning your body. It's moving all of the bad stuff, the toxins and everything, and taking it to wherever it needs to be disposed of, the kidney or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't move and that doesn't happen, you're just inviting trouble. You're just saying, okay, here I am. I've got no defense. There's no defense system. Go ahead and take over my body and kill me, which is what happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, that's easily stopped or easily combated with a simple little trampoline where you get on that and you just bounce. A lot of people want to jog or walk 10,000 steps. If you walk 10,000 steps, that's pretty good. That moves everything around okay. But you can do the same thing in a fifth of the time. So it's going to take you 2 hours to do 10,000 steps. All right. Or you jog for 20 minutes. I mean, not jog, rebound on the trampoline for 20 minutes. Well, who's got 2 hours out of every day of their life to spend walking? It's fun and it feels good, and your dog likes it, but it's still 2 hours, 2 hours out of your productive day where you could just spend 20 minutes. And during that 20 minutes, you can do other things. You can do your breathing. You can, watch something on your phone. I like to get the short YouTube videos or the Facebook videos and watch those while I'm rebounding. I'll watch a World War II mini series or something, and 20 minutes is up before it starts. So anyway, this is very, very powerful. And it's going to make a tremendous difference over time in how healthy you are, how well you can think, whether you have Alzheimer's or not, or whether your body deteriorates, whether you're able to go out and dance or enjoy things with your family. So this one, to me, I think is it's easy to do and fun to do, and it only takes a few minutes.
Well, that's one of the things that I love about it is that when I was sharing with my wife the whole thing about rebounding, and she's and I said, well, how would you feel about that? I mean, do you feel like you could, well, as long as I had something to hold on to, a handrail or something, because she's got, and who knows, this may very well help her stability. This
It
could
will,
actually
yeah.
go a long way to improve. Her being able to. Now she's going up and down the stairs all the time. Now, by the way, that was something else. When we were talking about high intensity exercise, I was thinking, well, maybe going, moving up and down the stairs real fast. Yeah, well, that sounds like a great idea, but there's also a hazard in that, and then
Yeah.
you risk if I miss a step or something, it's curtains. So I'll stick with flat land when it comes to that kind of thing. And in this case, with the trampoline, I think that's a good thing as well. So we are definitely going to do that. We're going to probably set it up. I don't know, maybe in the bedroom we'll put it over in one corner there and put a handrail on the wall into the studs to have nice stability and so forth. But they also make some of these mini trampolines with handrails built in. So we may actually invest a few extra dollars and have that so that she's got it right there. And they even come with little gauges or what have you that track your bounces, if you will, and clock how much time you're on there. And you're not spending a lot of time there, and you can watch TV or what have you, have conversation or what have you, and maybe put your earbuds in and listen to your favorite music or podcast. Or maybe, Dennis, maybe they could be listening to the audible version of Real Impact Daily Inspiration Volume 1.
That's right.
And you'll be reading something inspiring every time you get up on the trampoline. And again, we're talking about a mini trampoline, a personal, I like to call them like the personal pan pizzas. In this case, it's a personal pan trampoline. So we encourage you to get a copy or to get something like that. It doesn't have to be a major investment. I found one for under $100. and that's not bad at all. Well, let's go ahead and give our folks contact information, how they can get a hold of you, specifically how they can get a hold of Body of Health.
Well, if they'll go to dennisjhenson.com and click on the health tab, then they'll get a lot of things. We have a recap of all of our radio programs. I know 1 week we talked about how healthy cacao is to put in your diet. And I actually ended up putting 6 recipes, one for chocolate pie, one for ice cream, one for pudding, one for cake, one for candy, and there was another one, a drink, I guess, but there were 6. And oh my gosh, those are wonderful recipes and they're so healthy.
Hmm.
So you can go there and find that. You can, under the health tab, there's a link to take you to the Body of Health Facebook group. It's a free group. You go and sign up, and I'm always putting, well, short videos, mini videos of things that have a tremendous impact on your health. So anyway, just go there and check it out. And hopefully we have my new coffee blend on there. You can get the Body of Health premium blend coffee, which is a lion's mane mushroom. And it's going to change your day. It'll change how you feel during the day. Not to mention, it's the best coffee I've ever tasted. I mean, it smells wonderful.
Yeah.
And I told my assistant, we need to get some little dishes and put these around so that people can just smell it. I mean, I'm sincere. It's
Yeah.
it's really that good.
Yeah. Well, and no disrespect to Juan Valdez, but coffee prices they're getting up there, and I was really disappointed, and this was decades ago when you used to be able to buy a pound of coffee, 16 ounces, for whatever the price was. Now you can't find a pound of coffee. It's 14, 13, 12 ounces. They make the package smaller, the volume smaller, but the price keeps going up. But in this case, you're talking about mushrooms, and we can find out more about that by going to dennisjhenson.com. This is Tell Me Your Story. This is the Body of Health series with Dennis J. Henson and yours truly, Richard Dugan. Stay tuned. Dennis J. Henson, Reverend Dr. D. Richard Dugan. This is the Body of Health series here on Tell Me Your Story, and we are here to share with you information that we ask you to check out. If you feel so inclined, take it to your primary care physician or what have you. Please make sure that you are doing well enough to check into some of these things. Now, here's one that ranks right up there, I believe, Dennis, and I don't know that you'd want to do these two at the same time. You talked about the niacin flush, all right?
Yes.
But now we're talking about something that I have heard, and I don't know that I would incorporate this into my, my blood sugar routine to get that in a normal range, although it could help. But we're talking about something that can help in a lot of other areas, and it's cayenne pepper? Seriously. Tell us about that.
Well, most people, when they think of pepper, they think, well, if I eat this, it's going to irritate my stomach lining. It's going to give me heartburn. I mean, unless they're used to eating hot peppers. But
Hmm.
cayenne pepper is not like all the other peppers. If you take a mouthful of it, it's going to burn. It'll burn really. I mean, it will really hurt your mouth. You'll think you're going to die. But it doesn't irritate your stomach lining. In fact, it does the opposite of that. It coats and protects it. So, one of the things I learned about cayenne pepper from Barbara O'Neill, because I had a stroke, and when she's talking about stroke, she always talks about cayenne pepper. She says, if you're having a stroke and you take a spoonful of cayenne pepper, it could stop it in its tracks. Well, if you ever had a stroke, you know that you can probably have another one anytime. It's something that you're always aware of and you don't ever want to have another one. So I keep cayenne pepper in my pocket. I have a capsule in my pocket. I have it on my table. I have it in my office. I have it everywhere. So if I feel like a stroke may be anywhere close,
Hmm.
then I'll take the burn, you know. But if you take it in you know, on food, then the easiest way to get cayenne pepper down you and not bother you is on popcorn.
Oh,
Yeah, you make the popcorn, you salt it, you put on, now you use Celtic salt, you don't use table salt, but
right.
then you put the cayenne pepper on there and you eat it, and it's good.
Yeah,
And the popcorn kind of muffles the burn.
right.
Once it gets in your stomach, it starts doing wonders. It lowers your blood pressure. It increases your blood flow. It heals your stomach lining. It does not cause ulcers. It heals the ulcers. Isn't that amazing?
You know, it's
But
almost counterintuitive.
it is. And most people have no idea. Now, I'm not a doctor. You know, I'm just someone who's been through some serious health problems and
Yeah,
got well. Uh, you know, you consult your doctor. But if you're a stroke victim or there's in your family, you know, there's strokes, you need to study. You need to look at the articles about what cayenne pepper can do. It can save your life. You know,
oh,
it can change you. But even if you don't, if strokes are not involved, it's still good for you. It
yeah.
gives you a chemical shock. And it's one of the 10 things that shocks your system and makes you healthy, makes you live longer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about this in terms of the many, many other herbs and spices that a lot of times we take for granted. We'll put them on our pizzas, our pastas, put them in this dish, that dish, the other dish, and so forth to make them, give them some flavor and so forth that we really like. And there are people, such as my wife, who is an herbologist. She knows about this stuff. We got an herb chest, if you will, a cabinet that we have up on the upper floor in the living room that has all kinds of stuff in there that can really work wonders. And you don't need a prescription. And again, the health and healing qualities of all of these different herbs and spices have been proven down through the years, although you can't sit there and say, this will cure this or that or the other, that kind of thing, because obviously we have another system, an institution in this country that frowns on that. So we just want to say, hey, these are the kinds of things that we've experienced with
Right.
great results and so forth. One of the other things that I love about this program, Dennis, is what I learn, and I learn new words as well as new uses for different things. And I've learned a new word here, and I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly: sulforaphan. What is that? I've never heard of it before.
Well, it's a toxin. It's,
Uh-oh.
it's poison. Yeah. But then the shock we're talking about here is a toxic shock. Your system is going to think, oh, he's taking some poison. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Which is it's really that's the reason you're doing all these shocks to get your body to overreact. Now, even though it's a toxin, it's really good for you rather than being bad for you because you're not going to take enough of it, or you probably can't eat enough broccoli to cause you any problems. It's found it's found in broccoli. Um, the the word that you're looking for is sulforaphan. Sulforaphan is the ingredient. If you cook the broccoli, you're not going to get very much of it. You know, I love raw broccoli, but
Mhm.
if you get your broccoli that's young, fresh, you know, just broccoli sprouts, you get 100 times more of the sulforaphan than in cooked broccoli. So what you want to do is go try to find a health food store or a grocery store that sells fresh broccoli sprouts and eat as many of those as you can. And it triggers your survival gene and activates antioxidant pathways. So it tricks your system into believing that you're being poisoned, and it it activates your self-defense, your system's self-defense,
Hmm.
which is great. And where else are you going to get that? Well, nowhere. And you probably never heard of this before.
Now, when you say self-defense system, are you referring specifically to the immune system, or is it broader than that?
Well, it's all your it's if your body thinks you've been poisoned, it goes into a defense mode where all of your systems work together to try to save your life.
Hmm.
Well, wouldn't it be nice if they would do that without any poison?
Yeah.
That's kind of what this is doing. So it's triggering all your self-defense systems to work together to try to save you. Well, what if there's something else going on in your body that really is bad for you?
Hmm.
Wouldn't triggering those systems be a good thing? Not only that, those broccoli sprouts, I love them. I mean, I could just they taste good. You put them in your salad. You can eat them by themselves. Some people don't like broccoli, but the little broccoli sprouts before they become full-grown broccoli taste different. They
Yeah.
actually taste really good.
Yeah.
I love them, and so you make that part of your diet 3, 4 times a month, and you never know when it saved your life or stopped you from having Alzheimer's or dementia or a cold or the flu. What you never know
Yeah.
what it's done for you,
You know,
but you
it's
end up living longer.
absolutely, then that's kind of the goal here is wanting to live longer, but with that quality of life, as we've talked about. It's interesting too. The comparisons would be, and I just thought about this because right around now we're preparing for a major sporting event called the Super Bowl. Well, when these teams are practicing, they have both an offensive and defensive team on the same team, like say the Cardinals or whatever the team is, or the Cowboys. And when they practice, both offensive and defensive are on the gridiron practicing together so that they can work out not only the plays, but also make sure that they as individuals are good to go and ready so that when they get to the ball game on a Sunday or what have you, then they're ready to go. The same thing would be true with, for example, our military. They have exercises that they do, not just there on the base, but sometimes, like with the Navy, they'll go out and they'll have naval games where they're practicing, getting ready for hopefully what won't happen or doesn't happen, but they're ready in case it does. So you're doing the same kind of thing here using the broccoli in this instance to get your defense system, if you will, to stand up and be alert and ready to go when the eventuality may come when yeah you ingested something and I would venture that even when we talk about poisons even if you ingested something that wasn't cooked right or as the phrase goes it's food poisoning that you got, maybe this would help to minimize that whole thing because your defense system has been prepared for it.
Exactly, that's the point.
Yeah, exactly right. This is the body of health. We're talking about, of course, we just talked about sulforaphane. That's how they pronounce that, sulforaphane.
Yes.
All right, and broccoli would be the generic name, so to speak. So get yourself broccoli sprouts, not the full grown, but the sprouts themselves. Those are going to help more so than regular size full grown broccoli.
Yes, and the cooked broccoli takes most of the sulforaphane out, so
Ah,
you're not helping yourself much. Also, but some,
yeah.
but
So
it's
when you put it in a salad, which is obviously where it's raw, you're not cooking that stuff out
right.
and you're getting the benefits therein. Well, we're going to continue our conversation with Dennis here on the body of health. a program that is designed to provide you with information that we ask you to make sure you're very careful. There's an area I want to go into before we go on to our next item that we'll talk about as we continue with Dennis Henson and Reverend Dr. D here on Tell Me Your Story. I am Reverend Dr. D. Richard Dugan, and we're talking about the body of health with Dennis Henson. This is the new series here in 2026, and we hope that you're enjoying this as we continue on. But Dennis, before we move on to our next item, I want to ask you about our internal guidance system, so to speak. Now, again, we certainly have recommended that people check with their respective healthcare professional. But there is one healthcare professional that exists, that has always existed, and it's within each one of us, called our intuition. Now, folks have heard 8 or 9 or 10, or maybe 9 of the 10 shock habits that you can incorporate into your body's health arsenal, so to speak, to reset. But what about the intuition? There are 10 things here that we're talking about. How do I know which one I should use? If I've checked with my healthcare professional, I said, hey, those are fine, but I don't know where to start. What about our intuition, or that still small voice? How does that play in it for you?
Well, if you're listening to this and you think, well, yeah, I'd like to live longer, or I'm afraid that my health is deteriorating, and your voice says, maybe this is something I should check out, that's your intuition saying, go check it out. And in order to do that, go to dennisjhenson.com, click on health. It's going to have a recap of all we've talked about today and all the other programs that we've talked about. So by the end of the year, there'll be 52
Yep.
of those. So if your intuition says, that sounds like something I should do, then go and download it, cut and paste it, make it part of your life. I'm doing all of these. After I had the stroke, I was blind. I couldn't stand up. I was really in bad shape. And I determined I'm going to get well. I'm going to look normal. I'm going to think clearly. And I'm going to do whatever it takes. And so that's where these things came from.
Mm.
Anything that I heard of that was going to make me feel better, live longer, have a better quality of life, I plugged those in. Well, if you want to do that, you can. You could plug in some of them if they meet a specific need. But I would suggest that you think about making all of them. I mean, they're really simple
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
but they make a tremendous difference.
Of course,
And
I do have to say it's not one of the 10, but I do have to say that one of them is getting these small little dishes, putting some of that mushroom coffee in it, and putting it around the house to have that aroma. There's
oh,
just something about the smell of coffee, and it definitely smells like coffee, that just does something for your mind as well as your body. It's just an. I remember growing up as a kid, and my mother was making breakfast and my father's lunch for his day's work, and she was making coffee for him to have with his breakfast. When we stayed over at my grandmother's house in Florence, Arizona, one of the first things that we smelled as we're waking up is my grandmother making in the percolator, okay, in a percolator, coffee for my grandfather. So for me, coffee goes back a long way, and it's a great aroma to have there in your home.
I agree. I remember my mother making coffee for my father and how the house smelled in the morning. But this coffee,
Mm.
when when my when my assistant brought it in, and I just grabbed the bag and smelled it, and I thought, my goodness,
Yeah.
that I sincerely said this. I said, we need to get some little dishes and cups and put them throughout the house, make that to make this office smell like this, because it's one of the nicest smells I've ever had. I kept grabbing the bag throughout the day and taking a whiff. But
Yeah.
that's the thing is it tastes 1,000 times better than it smells.
Yeah,
So
well, I'll be going to dennisjhenson.com and clicking on the link to get my first pouch thereof because it sounds really good. We're going to take a pause here. Just a reminder, go to dennisjhenson.com. This is Body of Health. I'm Reverend Dr. D. He is Dennis Henson. This is Tell Me Your Story. As we continue talking about these 10 shocks, if you will, to the system, which sometimes is what we need. We're talking about the 10 shocking habits to reset to reset your health. One of these, and it is our last one here, uh, seems way too simple to be a shock. Tell us about it. What is it?
well, what it amounts to is when you get up, as soon as you can, you go outside and you look, maybe not right at the sun, but at the bright sky.
Mm-hmm.
It's a circadian shock. Circadian shock. So what it does, it triggers your cortisol, and it's the good cortisol, and it hits the start button for every organ in your body and resets your sleep timer. So if you're having trouble sleeping, maybe you're not getting your circadian rhythm in intact. Now, my assistant yesterday said, "This won't work for me." We were working on this program for today. I said, "Why?" She said, "I get up at 4 o'clock." I thought, yeah, well, that's true. I get up at 5, but I go and I take some things to make me healthy when I first get up. There's certain
Mm-hmm.
things that you take, and then I kind of check the weather and this or that. But as soon as the sun comes up, then I go out and walk in the grass in the backyard and look at the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't do it within the first 30 minutes, you do it as soon as you can, as soon as the sun comes up, or go out and just take in. But what's good is I get barefooted and I don't care whether it's cold or hot or whatever. I just go out and stand in the grass
Mm-hmm.
and let my dog out, and I let them, play in the backyard, and I walk around in the grass and take in as much color and as much light as you can. And that's what this is talking about. So it kind of starts your day off right, so
Mm.
that it wakes you up and makes you feel pretty good.
You are talking also about something that we will probably discuss in a future program that has a name, but you described it so well with
Grounding.
so many words called grounding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of folks don't seem to have that. Now, I will tell you that where we lived in Santa Barbara, I couldn't go outside and walk on the bare ground because I didn't know if there were stickers or this or that or the other thing. But now here up in Twin Peaks, not to say that it's any safer, but at least I can go out. I can walk out onto the deck, the wood deck. I can walk up the steps onto the concrete driveway, or the asphalt. And there are areas where there is dirt, and I'm out there barefooted for the first time in years. I'm actually walking around outside on the bare dirt with my bare feet. And as a kid growing up, especially in the summertime, we were running everywhere in the grass, on the hot pavement, in the backyard. And I tell you something, Dennis, whether you're running or just standing and just walking around, taking a few steps here and there is nothing like that to get your day started or for any time during the day.
I agree. Yeah. If you can, the grounding is really, we'll probably have, like you said, an entire program on that. It's getting your frequency. It's getting the frequency of your body in tune with the frequency of the earth.
Mm.
And the only way that you can do that is by actually physically touching the earth.
Yeah.
And it you don't have, I mean, they say it takes 20 or 30 minutes to get the truth is the second you put 2 feet on the ground, it changes your whole, it changes the atoms and molecules, electron in your whole system. It reboots your system.
Yeah.
And I never miss a day doing that.
Well, here's the beautiful thing for my wife and I. This is a two-story house, so you normally think, I got to go upstairs and out the front door. Well, what's nice about this house is we actually have a door to the outside in on the first floor of our master bedroom. And you take two steps down the wooden steps, and you are standing on not only a hill, but you're standing on bare dirt. And I'm looking forward to carving some steps into this hill along the side of the house outside the bedroom door to be able to walk down the steps in a manner, even barefooted, and just enjoying that feeling of being in contact with the earth. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I've always loved digging in the dirt as a kid, especially, and running around, obviously barefooted. I did step on my fair share of nails, though, Dennis. I will tell you that as a kid growing up. But all in all, it was a wonderful experience. Another experience that we're going to have is to continue talking about the body of health. Body of Health is the series, and this is Tell Me Your Story. I'm Reverend Dr. D. He is Dennis Henson, Body of Health. And Dennis, it comes down to this. It sounds to me like we need to stop getting so comfortable.
Well, I guess the question is, are you willing to experience a little bit of discomfort to extend your period of healthy life? That's pretty much the question. And my answer is, well, sure, And after you get used to it, none of it's very uncomfortable. It's just a matter of forming a different habit.
Well, it's really interesting how, and of course, we just talked about grounding. Some of these suggestions, there is a small investment dollar wise. But when it comes to grounding, that doesn't cost you a penny, not a penny. And most of these are so inexpensive that, you might buy I don't want to say a large quantity, but a large enough quantity to where it's going to last a while. And so are you when you incorporate many of the 10 shocking habits that can reset your health. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us in regards to our conversation today, as well as where people can go to find out more about not only about the Body of Health program and its aspects, but also in terms of, I love the aspect you have of reading something inspiring every day.
Sure. Well, if you want to find my book without having to make several clicks, go to realimpactbook.com, and it's available there. There's always a special going on of some kind. Check out the specials, and there's a lot of interesting things on that website you'll enjoy reading and listening to. And there's some games that you can play and win some free items. You can go to dennisjhenson.com. If you're interested in real estate investing, we've got a new program where I'm doing consulting. So you click on real estate, look at the consulting program. If you're interested in improving your health, click on the health, self-help. So there's things there. I like helping people, I like meeting people. If you want to contact me, there's my phone number is on, my email address. I'm easy to contact.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that you'll go and seek that out, and hope some of the things that we're doing here will help you have a happier, healthier, longer life.
Well, I'll tell you, when we started our connection over a year ago, October of 2024, when I had you on the program talking about Real Impact Daily Inspiration, the book, when we were done, the first thing I thought of was, this might make an interesting series. Now, I hadn't thought that we'd do 53 programs, but that's exactly what we did. And they are available, of course, on my website, YouTube, as well as SoundCloud and other locations. And then we get to the end of 2025, and of course, I went through all kinds of stuff. And I have to say, I would shy away right now from getting involved in real estate based upon what I've been through thus far in 2025. It's not a bad thing, not a bad thing. It's just I need to, I need to, I need to bring the energy down from that whole thing. And who knows, maybe I'll get involved. But then I thought, okay, Dennis, what I'd love to continue our conversations. What are we going to talk about? And that's when you brought up this whole idea, and you already had in place the Body of Health group on Facebook, and it just grew from there. And that kind of goes along the lines of following our intuition, because I said I want to continue this with you. I just think that the information, whatever direction we went, whether it was another one of your books, The Secrets of Success, and so on and so forth, it seems like the right time to do this because people are really seeking and looking for ways to be healthier.
I agree. I agree. And health is an important topic. It's one that everybody should embrace because if they don't, at some point in their life, they'll look back and think, boy, I wish I had done things differently.
Exactly. And of course, avoiding some of the things we even talk about our own personal health, what you've been through for the, last few years. And of course, just recently with your fall onto the pavement as opposed to the grass. But my blood sugar, my blood pressure, like I said, I found my scale. And the last time I weighed myself, or I was weighed by my primary care, I was in the 150s. And of course, my wife has been very concerned about my blood sugar and so forth. And one of the symptoms, of course, where if you don't get it under control, is you have a change in weight. It may go way down, or for some folks, it goes way up. Well, mine is still in the 150s. So I'm thinking, okay, well, that symptom's out of the way, and many others. I have good energy level and all those kinds of things. So I'm thinking that as I incorporate much of what we've talked about here on the program in just these 4 programs, 5 programs, I should say, um, I honestly believe that as my blood pressure has turned around and gotten back to normal without meds, I do believe that my blood sugar will turn around back to normal without medication. But it's going to take the willingness on my part. And that is also another subject too, is our own will, the willingness. You mentioned actually just a few moments ago that you got to be willing to do these things in order to improve your health. And you don't have to start with all 10, just start with one that feels, if I can use this phrase, Dennis, that feels the most comfortable for you, that takes you out of your comfort zone.
That's right. Well, I don't think you should pick it because it's the easiest or the most comfortable. You should probably pick it because it's going to help the thing that you want to improve the most.
Right.
If you're afraid that you or someone in your family is kind of going toward you know having a problem remembering things or doing things, well, maybe you pick it because of that, and then challenge them to do it with you so that you both improve.
Mm.
Or maybe it's something that's bothering you, your blood sugar, your blood pressure, you know, how you feel, how you sleep. These things will help change those things. And what I found is if you can pinpoint what it is in your health that you need to improve, you can go to YouTube and there'll be 1,000 YouTube videos there with people who have been through it, telling you how they got through it and how you can be helped. So
Right.
I highly suggest that you do research, outside of, in fact, my Body of Health Facebook page is, maybe I have one video or two on there, but the rest of them are someone else.
Mm-hmm.
If someone says something that's going to help that I want to remember, I put it on there and then it helps everybody. not just me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we are going to, pardon me, do our best to be here over the year 2026 and then beyond. Hopefully, we'll see what we come up with next year. But right now, it's the Body of Health program. It's a series that we will be bringing you every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. And it will be streamed live at richarddugan.com. It will be available as a podcast and video cast on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and on YouTube, as I mentioned, where you can watch the conversation. There'll be links to DennisJHenson.com that you can click on, and you can go there and just start your own journey to good health or better health. There's always, as they say, there's always room for improvement. If you want six packs, well, maybe we'll talk briefly about that. I have a one pack. Okay, that's as far as it goes there. But I am feeling good, and I feel really good, Dennis, when we do these programs. It's fun, and I have learned some things, and I may very well figure out how I'm going to go ahead and grab that cayenne pepper out of the cupboard and maybe mix that into something like you say, popcorn. I'm not a real fan, but if it's flavored just right for me, like with cayenne and maybe some good butter and or who knows, a little salt, like you talked about the type of salt, that'd probably be really good. I would enjoy that. Plus, the popcorn isn't bad for you either. That's pretty good for you too.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here, Dennis. Once again, thank you so much. And we'll look forward to another very informative edition of Body of Health next week and every week here on Tell Me Your Story. And I thank you folks for listening to and watching Tell Me Your Story, the Body of Health. New paradigms for a new world. We are giving you choices. Today was 10 different choices to help make your dreams come true, especially in the health area. We also hope that you will join us Sundays at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., Monday mornings at 1 a.m., Wednesdays at 9 a.m., Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m., especially Wednesday at 8 for Body of Health with Dennis Henson. We also hope that you will subscribe as well as click notification. If you would like to get a copy of my book, Choices, and as I said, we've given you 10 today, which is great. Choices, 5 Steps for Life is available in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle, available at Amazon. And if you could leave us a tip, we'd be greatly appreciative. There are some expenses involved, and if there's anything you can do to help us out, we'd be more than happy to take that. And thank you, thank you, thank you to those who have helped, as well as to those who will help. And again, a reminder to take some time during this decade of perfect vision, the 2020s, to go within to that quiet, peaceful, calm, still place and listen to that still small voice. And until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love to all. Jeanette, I'm still listening. Dad, continue to be happy because I am. Smokey, I'll see you on the other side. Mike, thanks for being in my life and letting me be in yours. And to my dear friend Zorro, aho, aho.